Here are their opponents. The over-under's at 10.5. Panthers, Texans, Colts, Rams, Steelers, Seahawks will be in Philadelphia. On the road, Cardinals, Bears, Jags, 49ers, and Titans. Brew, over-under for Jalen Hurts' squad, 10.5.
I won't be shocked if they fall off.
Really?
I won't be shocked if they fall off. I think we'll see if Dallas can bounce back, but I would expect Washington to be better. I expect the Giants to be better. But I do I like Sean Mannion. I know they went through, 50 interviews before they picked their offensive coordinator. But Nick, he's from the Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. He's worked with a lot of Sean McVay, a lot of other great minds. So I think he could really give that offense a boost. We know the defense is going to be good. I firmly believe the defense is going to be great. The offensive line, can they jump back to being elite? I'm going to go with the over right now with a little bit of hesitation, but I'm going with the over.
KW, Brew's affinity towards Sean Mannion reminds me a lot about his affinity towards Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
Always there, but just quiet.
Had a great year.
Talk a lot about it, but
there.
Look at him now. Newly rich.
So, shout out. But I think this is a hammered under. I hate that they lost Jeff Stoutland. We're going to talk about it later. I believe they're going to lose A.J. Brown. It seems like they have real questions about, even though Lane Johnson seems like he's going to be coming back, a couple of their interior offensive linemen, what's their future because of injuries? Under Howie Roseman, the Eagles have had these periods of sustained excellence and then a disaster year back to excellence. 2012, 4 wins, and prior to that, really good. 2020, 4 wins. It feels like we're about due for a disaster year for Philadelphia. I'm not saying 4 wins, but we talked about how no team had gone back-to-back in the division in more than 20 seasons. I think if they go over, they would be 3 straight. That seems like an almost impossibility.
Yeah, it's an impossibility for one of the best teams of the last 30 years to do that. That's weird. The Commanders are going to be better. The Giants are going to be better. Every team is going to be better, but the Philadelphia Eagles, the team that's actually proven their ability to check notes, be better. Oh, okay. Okay. Got it. Interesting. I didn't know. Like you guys know, I'm always trying to figure out what are the rules when talking about the Philadelphia Eagles because I don't know. I don't know the rules. Listen, I try not to get too hung up about the over-under. And I always need to emphasize this because the actual over-under itself means very little to me, but it's the way in which it's a reference point of how you feel about an individual team. And so clearly Nick does not think that the Eagles are going to be very good. And he's evoking 2012 right now. What happened in 2012? Okay, sure. What happened in 2020? And it's like, okay, sure. It's like, snorts, sure. There's no reason why this defense won't be great. I don't see why it wouldn't continue to be great. And if not even better, and this offense, and I want to just be so clear because I feel like I've said this many times, but I just want to be as clear as I possibly can. I strongly feel that as long as his O-line is just competent top 15 in the NF, right? Like just average or slightly above, right? It doesn't have to be this a dominant. Just as long as we're not like this as a liability, right? As long as we're not like, oh my gosh, Saquon Barkley is getting met in the backfield every single time, right? Where they're constantly second and long, third and long, right? Pretty much what we saw this past season. As long as this O-line is just remotely competent and consistent, I strongly believe that Jalen Hurts and Sean Mannion and this Philadelphia Eagles offense will pop. I think we will finally see an offense that is run that it just makes sense, that it actually has an identity, that it actually has a personality, that you actually feel that there is a rhythm, a flow, and a philosophy to their offense. It'll actually have a structure, and I'm excited for that. It'll really be the first time that I think that is really significantly emphasized with Jalen Hurts and this offense in a way that it wasn't really had the opportunity because they kept getting new coordinators and whatnot. And you're also dealing with a younger quarterback like when they actually had their best coordinator. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. I say his name a million times. Shane Steichen. Jalen Hurts new to the scene for the most part, essentially really young, right? Like you're just really trying to maximize whatever works in that moment, not necessarily develop. Kellen Moore really it was just the defense was great. The run game was great. There didn't need to be a lot of evolution. You got to just rely on Jalen Hurts just being Jalen Hurts as he proved throughout the course of that season and especially in the playoffs. And Kellen Moore was just able to kind of just go with that. And Kellen Moore did a beautiful job with all of that. Understood the assignment to the highest level, and it was great. But there was no unlocking. There was no evolution with Jalen. There was no taking the next step. I do believe that is the emphasis. That is the emphasis. And it's going to be all about improvement and growth. And considering Jalen and the Eagles' success that they've had in seasons past where there was essentially no emphasis on that because they either just had to right the ship or it was just okay, it's year 1.5 essentially like what we just kind of have to hit the ground running. Now you actually have the emphasis on growth, and I do wholeheartedly believe that Sean Mannion can do that. I love his resume. I love his background. I love what he can bring to the table. And that's why I'm just putting it on. As long as the O-line allows for that, right? As long as it's just competent enough and it's not just like every week you're just trying to keep your head afloat and trying to stay alive, I do believe there will be a concrete measurable step forward. That's what I believe. But hey, listen, Nick's taking the under, which means he's probably got the Eagles 3rd or 4th. It's going to be interesting. 3rd or 4th. He can't help himself. He does that a lot. And, that's perfect because every time he does that, the Eagles last time he had them being 4th, the Eagles won the Super Bowl. So, I don't know. So far, I think we're actually on a good off-season trend right now. We actually have a good off-season trend right now. So, I'm excited. He wants to talk about 2012 and 2020 in this. It's like, alright, let's talk about 2024. All the kind it's going to collapse. It's gonna collapse. They're due for a terrible year. 2023, that they had the supernatural funk for the last 5 weeks. They were the worst team in the NFL. Nick Wright's exact words. And that's going to continue into 2024. By Thanksgiving, Nick Sirianni's fired. This team is imploding. They imploded their way right to a Super Bowl. So, I'm just saying I'm seeing some similarities. Seeing some similarities. If we want to evoke the pass, let's evoke the pass. If you wanted to throw 50 yards, then give them 50 yards. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about by the Philadelphia Eagles over under 10.5? Do you think they are going to take that promised backward step that we have been told that the Eagles, it's just inevitable? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Nick even said in his Ravens take, he said if you just keep doubting you'll eventually be right. And that's what I always say. That's why every time you say this team is not going to win a Super Bowl, I'm like, yeah, if you keep saying that, like, you'll eventually be right, and you'll more likely be right than wrong because only one team wins a Super Bowl. It's a very easy take. Yeah. Here we are with Philadelphia Eagles. Always the doubt. Interesting. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. So, you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way, let's get some discussions. Let's get some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.